The re-upload. I'm Invoduke. Welcome to a new era of Kingdom Rush science. In the past, I unknowingly committed scientific malpractice because I was either not thinking or didn't have enough verified information. Luckily, after a year of mandatory ethics classes and having access to the code of the games, I can provide much more accurate information than ever before. So, to start things off, I need to correct some misinformation that I spread in a previous video. The highest damage that can be dealt by a single attack in each game. We'll go in order of lowest to highest, which means that we are starting off with Kingdom Rush 1. Sniper Shot has a chance to fail, dealing a percentage of an enemy's max HP as physical damage instead. At tier 3, this amount goes to 60%. So, all we need to do is find the strongest enemy that Sniper Shot can be used against. That title goes to the Forest Troll, who has 4,800 HP on Veteran. This value can be further increased on Endless mode, but that scales infinitely, which doesn't mean much for the purposes of our test. So, with just the 4,800 HP value, 60% of that amount is 2,880. Therefore, the highest damage you can deal in one attack in Kingdom Rush 1 is 2,880. Next is Kingdom Rush Vengeance. Shadowmark and Single Extinction both increase enemy damage taken by 100%. These effects stack multiplicatively, meaning that an enemy afflicted by both will take 4 times as much damage as normal. In other words, to find the highest damage you can deal in a single attack in Vengeance, you just have to find the strongest single attack normally, and then multiply that by 4 because you're going to use these two afflictions at the same time. The honor for the strongest single attack normally goes to Ice Cult. Unsurprisingly, the most powerful thing ever created by Ironhide is the title holder. With Ice Peaks, Ice Cult deals 30% of an enemy's max HP as true damage. Multiplying this by 4, Ice Peaks would deal 120% of an enemy's max HP as true damage, making it a guaranteed overkill on any target. The strongest enemy who isn't a mini-boss and therefore isn't immune to Ice Peaks is the Snow Golem, who has 3,375 HP on Impossible. Multiplying this by 120% yields 4,050 true damage. Following close after is Kingdom Rush Frontiers. Tribal Axe Thrower's Totem of Weakness multiplies damage taken by an enemy by 1.4. Saitam's Angry God debuff multiplies enemy damage taken by 1.65. If both of these effects are active at the same time, they stack multiplicatively, meaning that an enemy takes 1.4 times 1.65 times as much damage, or 2.31 times as much damage. This is a mandatory inclusion for whatever the highest damage single attack is, which goes to the Shrine of Regnos. At tier 3, it deals 1,000 to 2,000 true damage, so when multiplied by 2.31, it deals 2,310 to 4,620 true damage. This is also an area attack, so it will deal more than that with more units in range of the AoE, but for this list, we are only looking at single target damage, so 4,620 is the Frontiers record. Finally, Origins. The previous damage numbers were all in the same neighborhood more or less. However, in Origins, one skill in particular scales with damage in such a way that completely breaks this scale. Reaper's Harvest deals 330 true damage when the insta-kill chance fails. However, this damage can be increased based on how high Lilith's basic melee attack damage has been scaled up. Soul Eater takes 90% of an enemy's melee attack stat and adds that to her own attack stat. Therefore, we just need to find the highest damage enemy she can use Soul Eater on. That title belongs to a Twilight Golem on Endless mode. Unlike HP, damage scaling has a limit on Endless mode, so this is allowed for the purposes of limit testing damage. At max power, enemies deal triple damage, so the buffed Twilight Golem has 360 to 540 damage. Any other buffs applied to the enemy don't count for Soul Eater, so this is the true limit for highest damage. When Lilith receives a damage buff, the ratio of her new damage to old damage, that is, the amount that her base damage has been multiplied by to get there, is also how much Reaper's Harvest is multiplied by. So, if her buff got her to 34 to 50 damage, that would be double damage, and therefore Reaper's Harvest would deal 660 true damage. With a fully buffed Twilight Golem, her damage goes up to 341 to 511. But that's not all. Since this test uses Endless mode, we also have access to the Gnome Shop. Therefore, the Horn of Heroism will further multiply her damage to 682 to 1022. This is an average of 40.5 times as much base damage. So this now deals 13,365 true damage to a single target. Hunter's Mark makes an enemy take 200% damage from all sources, and with the Elven Training Star upgrade, it becomes 10% more effective for a total of 220% times damage. So, multiplying the damage we already calculated by 2.2 gives us a total of 29,402. But that's not all. Let's just say, hypothetically, that the target has Sylvan Curse as well as Hunter's Mark. Now let's say that there's an enemy nearby who also has Hunter's Mark on them. Then, 100% of the damage dealt to the enemy with Sylvan Curse will be directed to the enemy who has the Hunter's Mark on them, causing them to take 2.2 times 2.2 as much damage for a final total of 64,685. You may be thinking, couldn't you stack more Sylvan Curses in Hunter's Mark in order to deal infinite damage? And the answer is nah. As a bonus science fact, Sylvan Curse cannot distribute damage to enemies who already have Sylvan Curse on them. Therefore, the double stack of Hunter's Mark is as far as Lilith's damage will go. Still, compared to the other peak damage values throughout the other games, Lilith's maximum is just divine.